The Gopi Diaries Finding Love by Sudha murthy. Illustrated by Sandhya Prabhat. Chapter 1. Happy birthday to me. I woke up with a start. What are these strange sounds around me this morning? I wondered. I headed straight to Aji's room to whine and complain. I wanted to tell her that I hadn't slept too well. But to my dismay, Aji was not there. I sat on a bed, still sleepy. Suddenly I spotted something large looming nearby. I looked towards the figure. It was very handsome, with dark eyes, a dark nose, golden fur, and a beautiful smile. I immediately liked this fellow being, but I was very upset with Aji. How dare she bring a stranger into our house? She says that she loves me so much. Then why does she need another one like me? I frowned at him and he frowned back. Hello, who are you? I asked. The stranger repeated the same question. I stood up to attack him. He also stood up. Aha, it would be a battle of equals, I thought. I jumped at him. But instead of landing on the stranger, I hit my head against something very smooth and hard. As I sat on the ground, mourning softly, Aji came into the room and saw me in pain. Within seconds, she guessed what had happened. Gopi! Oh my Gopi! Happy birthday, Gopu! Today is your birthday and you have hit yourself against the mirror. She began pressing her palm against my head right where it hurt. Oh my poor boy, did you think that there was another dog in the room? You were looking at yourself, your own reflection. So that explains it, I thought happily. Very relieved that I was Aji's only dog. I had been looking at something called a mirror, and the handsome fellow being was none other than me. Aji patted me on the back and said, Gopi, I bought this large mirror yesterday. Come, let's go to the living room. Don't worry, you will be fine, and the pain will disappear soon. I followed Aji with my tail hanging down. But when I entered the living room, I immediately forgot my silliness of a little while ago. Happy birthday, Gopi, said Tachi Aji happily as soon as she saw me walking. You came into the world a year ago. When we brought you home, you were 5 kilograms. Now you are 40 kilograms and weigh more than your cousins Krishna and Anushka put together. There was a brief knock and Appa came in. As usual, he gave me a tight hug and smelt my coat. Then he wished me and said, Goops, I can't believe that a year has passed since I have met you. You have brought me so much happiness. Thank you. I hardly heard what Appa was saying. I could smell a dog treat in his shirt pocket. Now that's much more interesting, I thought, as I licked his pocket. Without hesitation, Appa took out the treat and gave it to me. Today is your day, Gopi. We will give you your favorite food all day. Appa was right. Paneer, boiled eggs, treats, chew sticks, biscuits were kept in front of me through the morning and afternoon. I feasted on them all. Finally, when I could not really eat anything more, I lay with my back on the sofa and put my paws in the air. Now I understood why and how birthdays are celebrated. This was the best day ever. I just saw me like that and said, maybe his stomach is hurting. He's probably ate too much. He sounded worried. I smiled. Aja, you are wrong. When I show my stomach and put my legs in the air, it means that I am very happy. You always stand at a distance and look at me curiously, wondering what I'll do next. When will you understand me? Aji and Tashaji just chuckled. I know they had heard me. In the evening, a beautiful girl came to our box. She was holding a colorful box. She came close to me and said, "Happy birthday, Gopu! I have heard so much about you and I couldn't wait to meet you." Although we were meeting for the first time, she gave me a big hug. "You are so handsome, like a majestic lion," she cooed. "It's like you are the king of dogs. I have never seen someone like you." Barrow! I barked, trying to sound like a lion to show off. But to my surprise, she said, "I know that you are not a lion when you bark, silly. Come now, I have bought ice cream specially made for you. You will love it. It's yummy." She set down something white on a plate in front of me. I took a small bite. Ooh, it was so cold yet so tasty. I licked the plate clean within seconds and stared at her. "Do you have more?" I asked hopefully. Almost as if she expected me to ask, she opened the second box. This time, she put on the plate was brown in color and tasted different. I ate it quickly. I can't even describe how wonderful it was. Ajay said, "Aparna, thank you very much for Gopi's treats. How did you know he would like ice cream?" "Auntie, I had a dog when I was younger, so I know what dogs like." Ajay smiled. Ajay and Ajay are so lovable animals, but they are old-fashioned and don't go out shopping to get things I might like. But look at this young lady. She knows what I want without even meeting me. I went and licked her hand to say thank you. Life is a Dream. Chapter 2. Life is a Dream. "Gopi! Gopi!" Ajay is calling out to me. It's time for my evening walk. As we set out, I spotted something interesting to stop and to explore it. But Ajay wants to keep moving. When I was younger, I would listen to her. Now I am older and want to have my own way. Ajay pulls me again and says, "Let's go." At times like this, I get upset and pull her in the opposite direction. These days, I can pull Ajay wherever I want. I am so much stronger and bigger than her. I am more confident too. Ajay, however, gets anxious whenever she and I go out alone. When we walk together, Ajay is not interested in many of the things that I want to investigate. So I pull her and do whatever I want to do. One day I saw a beautiful girl walking on the other side of the road with her human. She had long golden fur and big black eyes. I was enchanted by her beauty and stopped to stare at her. However, she didn't even look at me. There was another boy walking on the road and she seemed to be admiring him. Why is she looking at him? I thought. Sadly, he isn't even as handsome as I am. So I tugged at the leash to run towards her. Ajay couldn't handle the sudden tug and left the leash. I quickly crossed to the other side of the road. I approached the girl and said, "Hello, pretty lady," but the girl tossed her head and walked away. "That's so rude!" I turned to go back to Ajay. She was standing on the other side of the road with a worried expression on her face. Her eyes were filled with tears. Ajay said, "Oh Gopi, if you run like this without thinking, a car comes down the street, it will hit you. What will I do then? You really haven't been listening to me these days." I felt very guilty, but I didn't know what to say. Ajay came towards me slowly and picked up my leash. She loves me so much. I walked next to her quietly and we reached home. By then I had forgotten about the incident, but Ajay had not. When everyone sat down for tea that evening, she described that day's walk in great detail. In my opinion, she made it out to be far worse than it was. Ajay suggested, "Gopi is too large now and you won't be able to carry him like you did earlier when he was smaller. I tried to run on the road. Karipa and Shivaji can take him for a walk and help you look after him whenever they have some spare time. So that's how Karipa, Shivaji and I became close friends. I began spending more time with them, playing with them, entertaining them and warning them when there was someone outside the house. They adored me and I adored them too. Every morning, Shivaji washes my fish. I try to tell him, I don't need to wash my face, Shivaji. We are not humans. I can lick and clean myself. But he doesn't listen. Sometimes I give up and let him do as he please. He cleans my teeth with a special brush. I don't like this one bit, but I love the taste of the toothpaste. So I allow him to brush my teeth and lick the toothpaste. By grooming, they call it that. Doesn't end here. Then Shivaji cleans my eyes, combs my coat. Some days I even get a bath. I love baths. If it's winter, then my bath water is warm. If it's summer, the water is cool and fresh. Shivaji puts water on me using a hose, and I play with him and try to catch the jet of water. No matter how much I try, I can't catch the water and soon I'm wet all over. Shivaji laughs loudly every time that happens. Ajay and Tachaji also join in and rub shampoo on all parts of my body. At times, Tachaji gives me a gentle bath. She doesn't use water hose, instead she uses bucket and mug. Finally, someone dries my fur and then everyone tells me that I smell very good. At times, Karyappa also uses something called a hair dryer that blows hot air at me. It makes my fur fly up in waves. This is so relaxing. I feel sleepy and nice. One day, while brushing my fur, Shivaji and Karyappa found a small insect in my coat. They screamed as if something really bad had happened. Oh my God, that's a tick, yelled Shivaji. Ah, that's where I have been feeling itchy these days, I thought. Every time I felt the need to itch, I used my hind legs to scratch the area. Appa heard the yells and began asking questions like detective. When? How did Gopi get it? Gopi is so clean. Why is there a tick on them? Such insects can get on them while he goes for a walk outside the house. That's how he must have got it, replied Raja. He was sitting on the chair nearby looking at his cell phone. He must have been searching for the information on his phone. It didn't bother me too much and I didn't understand what the big deal was. But a serious meeting began between Appa, Aja, Shivaji and Karyappa. Almost as if we were facing an emergency like the bad thing everyone always talking about these days. Corona! Something it was called. Corona virus? Corona beetroot? Ah yes, coronavirus. Yes, that's it. Coronavirus. A few minutes later, Aji also joined in and said wisely, let's text the doctor and ask him. Appa quickly did something on his phone. I laughed. Aji always likes to swing into action quickly, but I, on the other hand, prefer to laze around and not to do anything. Appa looked up from his phone and said, the doctor recommends a special shampoo, a tick shampoo. We should use it to give Gopi a bath as soon as we can. I'll get it today. The meeting was dissolved in seconds and sure enough, I was a tick-free within a day. I spent a lot of time with Shivaji and Karyappa. Shivaji takes me for a walk in the morning and evening. He carries a stick in his hand. I'm so handsome that many girls call out to me on our evening walks. Hello, good looking. Some greet me. Others whisper among themselves. What a handsome fellow. I would love to be friends with them, but Shivaji shoos them away with his stick. After the walk, I come home and flop down on the floor. I like to be alone and rest for some time. Aji is always so busy and active. She wants me to be busy and active too, so she has kept a teacher for me. Vinay sir is a kind man, but when I don't listen to him, he can be very stern. He knows how to make me listen. All he does is raise his voice and give me a dirty look. Gopi, he says, listen to me now. I know better than to mess with him when he uses this tone. Vinay sir has taught me so many things. I can sit, I can stand, I can roll over. I can even do a high five. And if he asks me to drop and fetch things, I can do that too. He had even taught me to play hide and seeks. Every time I do something well or complete an activity, he says, Gopi, come here and give me a treat. That's why I listen to him. Some days he takes me for a third walk and runs faster than any dog or human I know. I run behind him trying to keep up. When we return, I feel more tired, and if I had chance to chase butterflies in the garden for whole day. One day Vinay sir said to Aji, I taught Gopi all the basic commands and he had learnt them very well. If you don't need me anymore unless you want me to teach him more complicated tricks such as standing on two legs, Aji hugged me and said, no, you have already taught Gopi so much. It's enough for my child. But he loves being with you. So please continue to come. No, my student has graduated and my duty is done, said Vinay sir. Then he looked at me and smiled. Congratulations, Gopi. It's your graduation day. And I went close to him and looked up at his feet. The next morning, I got up feeling ticklish in my nose. And then I began to sneeze non-stop. 1, 2, 3, 10, 15, Tachiaji said to Karipa. This is not normal. Check Gopi's nose. If it's dry, then he may have fever. It looks dry to me, responded Karyappa. Shivaji disagreed. He touched my nose once, then twice, then said, no, he's not. Nose is not dry. But before I knew it, both of them were arguing about who was right. Stop fighting like children, Tachiaji said and sighed. Let's take a thermometer and check. That will put an end to your fight. Suddenly I felt something poking below my teeth, exactly the spot where I poked from. I was annoyed and disturbed. How can anyone touch my private parts? Only Aji, who is closest to me, can do so, but she was standing in right front of me. Then who was doing this to me? I looked behind and saw Karyappa standing near my tail. How dare you? I yelled at him. Aji placed her hand on my head and said, Gopi, don't be upset. We are trying to check your temperature. But you put glass thing in your mouth when you are not feeling well. I have seen you do it. Why didn't you put in my mouth too? As he understood my question, she answered, we can't put the thermometer in your mouth, Gopi, because you will instantly bite it and it will break. This is the only way we can take your temperature. No, I argued, I'll not bite the... And then I felt a little tug as the thermometer was removed. Tachiaji looked at it and said, his temperature is normal. There is no need to worry. Tachiaji was culprit after all. It's because of her that my temperature had been checked. I wanted to give her a dirty look, but when I saw the look of the concern on her face, I changed my mind. I'll forgive you this time, I thought to myself. That evening, Aparna came home again. I liked her. She brings a gift for me every time she meets me. This time she bought my favorite thing to chew. Chew sticks. She said, Gopi, you must buy these after lunch or dinner. They'll keep your teeth clean. Immediately I took one from her hand and tried biting it. It was hard. The upper layer was nice, but the inside was difficult for me to chew. Still, I did a good job. I smiled at her and showed her my teeth. They were beautiful and strong and white. Aparna grinned back. Maybe our dear Gopi can model for this Shoestick brand TV show his beautiful white teeth in a TV advertisement, said Appa. When I looked confused, Appa explained that being a model meant eating a chewed stick in a photo. I nodded. That night, I dreamt of walking in front of a lot of dogs and humans. My body swayed from side to side and my tail remained upright on my back. I had a chew stick in my mouth. I saw my family sitting nearby clapping for me. I even saw Aja taking photos. If only it would come true. Chapter 3. A Day at Toffees. Every morning, Aji goes to office. Before leaving the house, she wraps something around herself that is very long and has many different colors. She is so quick that try as I might, I am not able to sit and do it. Gubu, I know what you are trying to do. You want to sit on my sari so that I can't leave for work, Aji said. Then she put sandal flowers in her hat. Sometimes I accompany her to the garden to pluck flowers. After she leaves, I miss her all day and wait for her to return. One day, as Aji was getting ready to go to office, I grabbed the long thing she wears every day. What she calls a sari between my teeth and held it tightly. I thought this would be the best way for me to go with her. Aji smiled and said, Gopi, leave my pallu. I am going to office. I have a lot to meet my colleagues and we have a lot of work to do. There is no one there to play with you if you come with me. You are an active dog and will get bored soon. You will have more fun staying at home. But I didn't listen to her. As soon as the car's door was opened, I rushed in and sat down near the window. Aji pleaded and cajoled me to get out. She even offered me a chew stick. I grabbed the stick from her hand, but I didn't get out of the car. Aji begged, Get down from the car, Gopi. Please, I'm being late. But I was deaf to her words. Sometimes I enjoy not listening to her. Finally, she gave up. Okay, I really don't have time to convince you. You can come and drop me. It's a short drive to office and you'll be back home in 5 minutes. I heard and understood every word. When we reached the office, I rushed out of the car before her. Aji was taken by surprise and ran behind me. But I quickly entered the office and rushed into a small box-like room which was filled with people. Look, there's a log in the lift, they exclaimed to each another. Some even clung to each other in fight. As the doors of the lift closed, I saw Aji give me a surprised look and run up the stairs. Still, I was faster than her. When the lift doors opened, I rushed out quickly. Aji finally caught up with me. She was breathing heavily. Gopi, go downstairs, but I was too distracted. I saw people sitting on chairs and looking at screens on their desk just like Appa does. I went to each person, wagged my tail and bowed my head. A middle-aged lady wearing glasses on her nose, like Tachi introduced everyone as I went around. Gopi, do you want to sit on Krishnamurthi's chair? She asked with a mischievous look in her eye when I approached her. Yes, Leena, I'm sure Gopi will enjoy working on my files very much, Krishnamurthy replied as he tickled me behind my ears. Then I strolled towards the next person. Rashmi, Gopi is looking at you. I think he likes the color of your sari, Leena said. Rashmi put his chair back a little bit in reply. I looked around the room, wondering where to go next. Then I saw another person. She tried to get up from her chair when she saw me approach her, but stopped when I came near. Asha, Gopi seems to have found something interesting in your bag. Look at how he is sniffing at it. I think he wants your tiffin. My next stop was a person who was trying his best not to look at me. But Leena did not let him ignore me. Prashant, she said to him, Look who is standing next to you. Soon I knew everybody in the room. Then Leena, the friendly lady, said to Aji, "Let him be here, ma'am. I don't think he will trouble us." From the corner of my eye, I saw Shruti Didi. Though she was also working at a desk, she turned and looked at me. She gave me a wide smile. I understood that she also wanted me to stay. "Yes, Leena is right. Let him stay," she said. All my new friends, Krishnamurti, Rashmi, Asha and Prashant nodded. Then Rashmi added, "He's so friendly. If he disturbs us, we promise him to send home." I sat and looked at Aji pleadingly. She said, "Okay, I'll keep an eye on his behavior for today." Everyone turned back to their screens. So there were two kinds of people here, I thought to myself. The one who could order me around and the one I could prank. The first kind were Leena, Krishnamurti and Didi, who were familiar with dogs. My tactics were not going to work on them. But it was the second kind, Rashmi, Asha and Prashant, that I would be able to take advantages of, as they didn't seem to know much about dogs. Being in an office was such a nice treat. I wasn't going to get bored at all. Chandrana was at the main door. He was the person I nearly threw to the ground in my hurry when I had rushed into the office in the morning. Soon he became my lift friend. He liked to greet me every time I entered the lift. We bowed to each other. The lift was the best thing I had ever seen. I didn't have to go up and down the stairs. When the lift went up, I went with it too. When it went down, I also went down. It was so much fun just getting into it again and getting out wherever I liked. I wanted to do this all day. I went with Chandrana to the third floor. As soon as I got out from the lift, I saw a nice garden with flowers. A garden on the top of the building. I had never seen such a thing. There were lots of flowers here like Aji's garden. I know many of their names as Tachi Aji often points them out. There were roses of different colors. Pink, red, oranges, yellow. There were water lilies and lotuses. And even a plant with a strange but pleasing smell. When I smelled it, Chandragas said, "Gopi, that is lemongrass. Its aroma is enchanting and I ate it immediately. The moment I tasted it, I knew it was good for my tummy. Ooh, yummy!" I went near the water lily pot and saw some small creatures moving around in the water inside it. I put my pot in and sucked some water along with these creatures. Just as I was about to do it again, somebody came and suddenly smacked me on the back. Ouch! It was Didi. "Gopi, you naughty boy, you shouldn't drink water from here. The water is dirty. There is mud in it, and couldn't you see the fish swimming around? Did you want to eat the poor fish? You should enjoy the beauty of this garden, not disturb it, silly." I agreed with her. It's a cute garden. I want to mark my territory just like my kind to do when I go to some place new. But just I lifted my leg, Didi got upset again. "Gopi, you must not dirty the garden," she scolded me. "Didi, you don't know the meaning of marking my area. It means I'm the king of this spot. Dogs don't have houses like Ajay and other humans. When we find an area we like and want as our own, we mark it by piddling on it. By that logic, you are in my territory now. If I want, I can chase you away," I argued back. But Didi didn't understand and simply patted my head and gave me a quick hug. I didn't feel like scolding her anymore. Soon it was lunchtime. All my new friends gathered in the dining area. I saw some of them standing near a water tap. Appa has told me how to drink water from the tap. I went near one of the taps, pushed Prashant aside and began drinking water from it. I hadn't realized I was so thirsty. Look at him, he drinks water directly from the tap, said Asha. I can't believe it, exclaimed Rashmi. The more they found me, the more I drank. The more I drank, the more squeals I heard. Soon I heard Aji's voice. Enough is enough, stop Gopi. When I heard the tone of her voice, I had no choice but to listen up. Then everyone sat around the table to eat just like they do at home. Delicious smells started floating around. I wanted to jump on the table and eat that food, but Krishnamurti said, you can eat what we eat, Gopi. Aji has got special lunch for you in your own box, and it is very different from ours. Soon I had a bowl in front of me. It had boiled vegetables, boiled eggs and roti. It was certainly very different from what everyone else was eating. What a feast lay on the table, rice and sambar, roti and dal, fruits, cake, chocolate and gulab jamuns. Krishnamurti saw me staring at everyone else's food and laughed. You can't eat sweets or chocolates, Gopi, he said. Your stomach won't digest some of these things, but we will share some fruits with you. Leena was very kind and gave me a soft orange fruit that is called papaya. Asha sat at a distance, but when I approached her, she quickly gave me a big egg puff. I gobbled it in an instant before anyone could stop me. Then I looked at my food. Sigh. It looked so boring. I glanced around again and again, but it didn't look like anyone else was ready to give me any more food. As I was hungry, I gulped down my food. After lunch, Prashant gave me a big bowl of yogurt. It was tasty and I licked the bowl clean, but one bowl seemed to be little. I barked and said, one more bowl please. Prashant nodded and got me another. I finished that too. My stomach felt full and satisfied that I wanted to take a nap. Aji knew that I needed to lie down in a cool place as she understands that I feel warm under my silky golden coat. She called me to her side. Come Gopi, I'll put you on the air conditioner for you. Then you will feel cool, she said lovingly. Soon I was fast asleep. I had done a lot of work. I woke up with a start. I had to answer the call of Nisha. Quickly I found my leash and carried it in my mouth to Aji. Aji put the leash on me. Then Krishnamurti took me out of the office to the main gate. I was happy to mark a new territory. I never miss a chance to mark new places when I discover them. Within a few minutes I came back. Flopped near Aji's table again, lazing around her. Once the day was over, everybody said to Aji, please bring him to work every day, he make us happy. Yippee! I had made a good impression on everybody's heart. What a successful day! Chapter 4. We are family. Aparna comes home quite often these days. She runs to meet me after she arrives and said, Gopi, you are such a beautiful dog. I love to come and see you. But am I only the reason she comes to our house? I wonder, or is it Appa? She and Appa sit together and talk for hours. They talk about many things that have no interest to me. They laugh a lot, and when they do that, I go and sit between them. I want to laugh with them too. Then they both turn to me, pet me and say, I love you. But I don't know whether they are saying that to me or to each other. It's so confusing. I must tell Aji, I must. After a few days, I said to Aji, I think Appa likes Aparna and she likes me. I like her too. I already have a father, but purpose this is the right time for me to have a mother. You are very nice, Aji, but you are also getting older with time. I know you can never even think of getting me new cool things like Aparna does. Aji smiled as if she understood what I was saying. Gopi, Appa's wedding date is fixed. But there is some more news, purpose even more exciting for you than the wedding. Aparna and Rohan will share that with you. Be a good sport. Days passed and I didn't hear anything from Appa or Aparna. I was getting restless. Then one day the bell rang. I always run to see who it is and mostly get to the door before anyone else does. When Ajay opened the door, we saw two girls standing at the gate holding their mother's hand. I recognized them immediately. They were my cousins Krishna and Anushka. I was seeing them after a long time. Shivaji ran to open the gate and let them in. Is that Gopi? They asked. Ajay nodded. Welcome home, Akshada and my darling Krishna and Anushka, she said, smiling happily. Krishna and Anushka squealed with delight. He looks like a lion now, they shouted as they ran towards me and hugged me. What a feeling! Nobody ever hugs me so tight. I wagged my tail faster than I ever had done before. Krishna whispered in my ear, Gopi, we have bought special biscuits, dog treats and foods for you. We have also made necklace for Hari, Nanti and you. I was happy, even though I didn't understand much of what they were saying. Who was Hari? Who was Nandi? I wondered, but I thanked them by licking their hands. Their mother started shouting, Girls, be careful, he is a big fellow and he might bite you. I laughed at Akshata. She was like her father and didn't trust me. The girls, however, didn't pay any attention to her. Anushka asked me secretly, Will you sleep with us? I wagged my tail and agreed. Ajay came close and took both the girls with her. She sat between them on a bench nearby. I was upset. Why is she giving the girls so much attention? I'm here all the time. I'm hers. The girls don't live here. They only come to visit her. So I jumped on Ajay and sat on her lap. The girl screamed, Well done, Gopi. You must also sit with us. Ajay, however, struggled to carry my weight on her lap. When she saw the look in my eyes, she understood that I was feeling left out and said softly, Gopi, you are my heart, but these are also my grandchildren. Allow me to spend some time with them too. I nodded and agreed, only because Ajay explained it so nice. A week later, I met Appa and Aparna together. I thought they would have bought me gifts, but instead, they gave me the shock of my life. Aparna said sweetly, Gopi, we have decided to adopt down 2 dogs from the shelter. One is a puppy that was hit by a car. He had lost both his legs and we can't use them at all. But he is full of life. The second one lost a leg in another accident. People don't adopt such dogs and they need someone to take care of them. That's why we have decided to adopt both these dogs. They are a wedding gift to each other. Welcome them and treat them like your siblings, added Appa. You'll stay with Ajay and they'll stay with us. But you must have them too. You have 4 legs and you'll be the eldest. Hey, what's going on? I thought to myself. I was finding it hard to understand. How can I share my toys, my joys, my punner, my love with 2 strange dogs? I don't know them. What if I don't like them? Then what will I do? I was getting worried. Maybe I should tell them not to bring the dogs home. Tachiaji, who was watching me, sat down next to me and said, Gopi, it's important to us to help each other. We are fortunate to have 4 legs. The 2 other dogs are not. Try not to be selfish and welcome them home happily. Our love for you will not become less. In fact, we will love you more for being good with them. I hope Tachiaji was right. The next day, the 2 dogs arrived in Appa's house and I went to see them. At first, I was scared. I have never seen dogs like them. Then I realized that they were more afraid of me. One was brown and tiny. He had twinkling eyes. He pushed his body forward with 2 front legs to move. I felt very bad for him. Appa patted him gently and said, Good boy, Nandi. The other one was black. When Aparna called out to him, Hurry, he limped towards her on 3 legs. Now we have Gopi, Hari and Nanti, Aparna said proudly. I sat near them for some time, but they didn't move towards me. So I went both to them, wagged my tail to welcome both of them. I was glad to have them after all. A few minutes later, Aji bought paneer for all of us. I wanted to show that I was friendly and let Hari and Nandi know that I would share my things with them. I took a piece of paneer and dropped it in front of Hari. I dropped one in front of Nandi too. Everyone clapped. Oh, what a wonderful thing you have done. Well done, Gopi. You are a gentleman at heart. I heard Aja's voice and was glad to see him join us. I was surprised. I always thought he didn't bother much about me, but still I was glad he got the chance to know who I am. Then one day, soon after I woke up to a lot of sounds in the house, I ran out of my room. Shivaji quickly took me to the garden for my morning routine and then rushed me to my bowl for my breakfast. What's happening? I thought to myself. Why is everyone in such a hurry? Where is Aji? Then I suddenly spotted them. Aji and Taji stood together, smiling happily. Aji called out to me, "Come, Gopi, today is Appa's wedding day. Come with us to a hotel nearby. Appa can't get married without his feet." As soon as Aji walked towards one of the cars outside, I rushed forward and jumped inside before her. I stuck my head out of the window of the car. Oh, this is so much fun! But no sooner had I started enjoying the wind on my face, the driver turned the car and stopped near a big building. But no sooner had I started enjoying the wind on my face, the driver turned the car and stopped near a big building. The place was filled with flowers, just like the garden at home. I rushed around smelling them all. What a good place this is, I thought, shaking my head in excitement. In a short while, many of Aji's family and friends also came there. It was such a happy day. Aji introduced me to a thin, sweet lady and said, "Meet my sister Jessie. She is here for the wedding." Jessie hugged me, surprised. I looked at her with bright eyes and she said, "You reminded me of Lyric. I know what it means to have a dog in the family. I had Lyric until a few years ago." Then Aji pulled me aside and took me to a gentleman nearby. "He looks like Aji," I thought. Aji said, "This is my brother Srinivas." Then turning to Srinivas, she said, "This is my joy, Gopi." Srinivas was curious and patted my head. He reminded me of my rabbits. I have 3 rabbits at home. Woof! I barked in surprise. Did I look like a small tiny rabbit, a creature who can't understand what it means to bite on chew sticks, to bark and to play with water? The warmth of his hand, however, made me relax and I felt better. The rest of the time I stayed with Shivaji and observed the crowd of people. Some even came and met me. Many people said I was a good and handsome dog. I heard them praising Appa and Aparna for adopting Hari and Nandi. Aparna looked beautiful and Appa seemed so happy. He was smiling all the time. A full meal and many hours later, I was so sleepy that I couldn't keep my eyes open any longer. I only remember Shivaji saying, "The wedding is over, Gopi, let's go home," before he took me into the car. The next day after the big event, Aji came and sat next to me. She looked tired, but she had a big sunny smile. She said, "Gopi, you have 2 parents now, Appa and Amma. A photo shoot is scheduled in an hour for a family picture. Appa, Amma, Hari, Nandi and you. I smiled back. Soon the photo shoot began. I sat between Amma and Appa and thought happily, what a beautiful family I have. Chapter 5. Love at last. Many days went by, many days and months, and then everything started to change. No one went anywhere. Everyone was at home. Aji stopped going to office, but even though Aji did not go anywhere, she was busy. She was talking on her phone or looking at the screen of the computer all day. The way the people in the office had done. I was only allowed to go for short walks, but none of my walk friends could be seen. The road was empty and it was no fun. Every morning I wait to go with Aji to pick flowers in the garden like she did earlier before going to the office. But Aji doesn't pick any flowers. I keep trying to tell Aji that I miss the office and all new friends I made there. But Aji is too busy to listen. These days Aja, Aji and Tacha Aji talk. They often say the word COVID. I don't know what it means, but their faces looked worried when they talked about it. COVID, Corona, they call it many things. Maybe it's Corona thing they had started talking about many months ago. People on TV, the utter big screen that everyone looks at in the house, also talks it about all time. Aji looked concerned when she talked about it on the telephone. Has this COVID, whatever that is, made everyone stay at home? I wondered. In the evening, Aji relaxes a little and spends all time with me. I love being with her and sit next to her no matter what she is doing. I love going with her to the small garden at home. I jump on the flower beds and walk on the vegetable patches. When Aji is not looking, I catch a quick taste of the tulsi plant. The first time I tasted it, Shivaji had rushed into the house and complained about me, saying, Gopi is eating tulsi leaves. It's okay, Shivaji, Aji replied, as long as he didn't eat up the whole plant. Tulsi is good for everybody. Let Gopi also eat it. Earlier, Aji would get upset when I jumped on flower beds, but not anymore. I have become the master of the house and I love it. I have fun with everyone at home except Aja. Every day after finishing his dinner, Aja comes and sits in front of me. Then he tells Aji, please give him the vegetable we eat tonight. I don't want vegetable, but he insists. When I am at dinner, he fills water in my bowl and tells me to have it after I have eaten my food. I don't need to have the water, but I don't get upset or say anything. I know that he thinks I am like him. When Ajay eats roti, he eats vegetables and he drinks water. But that's not my order of things. One day, Aji was busy on the phone in her room. So I went and lay down in the living room. Aja was sitting in his favorite chair reading a book. There was nobody else around. I closed my eyes and dozed off. Zzz. Suddenly I felt a gentle hand on my body. I opened my eyes just a little bit and saw Aja. I was surprised. He had never done that before. I quickly closed my eyes. Aja leaned close and said, I always thought dogs were ferocious. They don't understand us. Slowly, after spending time with you for over a year, I have realized that you are so much like humans, like us. The only difference is that you don't have hands and you can't speak. When I come home and see your face, I feel content and the stresses of my day melt away. When you sit with the others, I also feel like sitting next to you. But I always be always have been afraid. Today you were in deep sleep and there was no one around. So I gathered some courage and touched you. It had made me love you more and I feel closer to you, Gopi. I wish I had learned this before. Then I would have brought someone like you to my house 40 years ago. I really didn't know that you would bring so much happiness to the family. He paused. I wanted to hear more and continued to keep my eyes closed. So Appa has brought you home. You are Ajji's dog, Aja continued. The way you feel happy with her and the way you wait for her for hours remind me of a Japanese story I once read. It's a true story. Once upon a time there was an old man who lived all alone with his dog. They loved each other and were best friends. The old man used to go to work every day by train and the dog would drop him to the platform in the morning and would go there again in the evening to wait for him. One day the old man died when he was in office and he didn't return home in the evening. The dog, however, came to the platform as usual. He waited till the platform was empty and